Alrighty, good morning, welcome. Hope all is well. Welcome back to the Nintex Hangouts. This is Eric Harris, your host for the Nintex Hangouts. Sorry that it took me so long to figure this thing out. Google has actually changed a lot of different stuff. Fun, not so fun. Also, it's not cool that I'm wearing a white shirt, white background. I'll get that resolved at some point in the future. But really glad to be back doing these Hangouts. Um, Trying to get all the technology changing super fast, but trying to get everything worked out and figure out how we can actually get these things going for you. Um, so, with no further ado, 20 minutes in, running late, but let's see if we can make this happen. Got an exciting day today. Got some things that we want to show you all around external starts. That's probably one of the biggest things, and also answer a couple of questions from the community that I saw. So really keen on getting that going for you all. So, with that being said, let's get started, shall we? Alrighty, let's see if I can figure this thing out. This is actually the fun part of it is figuring out how to get everything going and showing for you all appropriately. So, give me a few seconds and let's see what we can do. All right, let's see. Share my screen. External start works on site workflows only. So you can't kick off a workflow on a list or document library. It starts with the site. The way you get around that, though, is you can actually have the site workflow kick off a document list or library workflow, document library workflow or list workflow from the site workflow. There's some things around how that workflow is run, how it's accessed and managed from the REST API, etc. Why the site workflows are the ones that we chose to use. So just that's something to note there. Let's see if I can find the other blog that I was looking for. Let's see here. I want to see if that's that. And let's see what we can do here. So there's a couple of things. Man, there was another blog that I'm looking for, and it was written by Dan Stoll. Give me a second to find it. Let's see here. It's going to be really fun. Actually, I'll walk through it myself. So, what you want to do first here is create a site workflow, and let's do that. So, what a site workflow can do that your regular workflows cannot do. So that's just something to be mindful of. Let's see here. So we're going to do a basic one, send notification. We can do assign flexi tasks as well. We can assign a task so once something kicks off in an external start, we assign a task to someone, have them do something. Yeah, why not? And so actually, let's just move this down, approve, and let's just drag another one in here, approve. We're going to assign this to me since I'm doing this. It's going to be very simple. So, and allow lazy approval, why not? And we'll say this is a Hangout task. How about that? Approve or reject, fine. We need a couple of variables here. Let's see here, task ID, and that'll be that. And we need something else here, I'm assuming task outcome. And I believe that's a collection. Let's see. Ooh, oh, I did that incorrectly. Sorry. Uh, definitely did not build that one correctly. Variables, I just need a blank task outcome. That's doing things on the fly. Delete that, and then do this way. And that should show up there. There we go. So we want to store that task outcome there. Advanced options if you want to change anything else. Don't really have to. Very simple. So send that over, and then I'll approve it. If it's approved, email a notification over to myself again, because I like emails. Just kidding. Task was approved, and I can bring in some information from the task itself. Let's see here. There we go. And remember, so here's something to note. We don't necessarily have list item information. So it's something to be mindful of. Let's see here. And I want to bring over the site owner's name. Why not? So just bring that in and then save that. It's disapproved. Actually, let's just be smart. Copy. Delete that. And I'm going to paste that there. And just go in and change a word that says task was rejected. And again, the whole purpose of this is the fact that this is starting from external. It's not connected to a list or a library. So I could, in all reality, start workflow. And grab a workflow on here. So I actually do have some things already started or already available. I could start a workflow until it say kick off this workflow, and it asks for some information. Let's see, do I have anything else? Start workflow, start immediately, schedule. I can schedule a workflow as well. There's a host of things you can do. If you wanted to kick off a different workflow, I don't have any other workflows built, which is actually kind of funny. But we're going to do this as a Hangout test. Acquire, publish without validation. Everything else looks fine. Save, and let's publish this little guy. So what we're doing here is we're basically creating a workflow that is starting. It's going to assign a task to myself. I'll get that email, and then I'll just have to approve it, and it'll send me an email notification. You're like, okay, yeah, that's lame. So what can you do with this thing? I'm going to show you something that's really cool. We're actually been partnering with, we've been working with, there's a couple of different tools out there that you can use to actually kick off your workflows, and one of those is Zapier. You also have Azuqua, you have REST endpoints, you can do JSON, a JSON call, using Postman, etc. So there's a couple of different tools available. But with this, okay, that we published with this, I want to show you a really cool feature with Zapier. And the reason why I'm using Zapier is because for people that don't know necessarily how to build a REST API or connect to a REST API or whatever, and say you want to pull information from here's a good one. Say you want to pull some information from Salesforce. You can actually do that. There's a couple of ways to do that, and I'll show you a couple of those ways really quickly. So the first way you can do that, if I can find that, let's see if this is in here. It's not. Catalog. You will need the premium features to be turned on. Let's see. Where am I at? Let's see if I can get me Salesforce. So Salesforce, create record, create user. So those are available. There's a couple more out here as well. Delete, query, retrieve, update, and update user. So these are available. And what you can do is actually use this to query information and pull it back. So say if something happens and someone creates an account inside of Salesforce and you want to get some of that information and bind it to a document and actually generate an invoice and store that, or create a proposal. You want to create a site for a new customer, for example. You want to create a new SharePoint site for a new customer, but that obviously you're using Salesforce. Or hey, let's see if we even have this one. I know we do because I know that this stuff exists. You're using Dynamics or you're using Sugar CRM or whatever. You want to be able to capture that, and when something happens, you want to be able to create that site, bring in some information about that person or that customer, and then start managing that in a SharePoint, because it's not necessarily CRM information. It's just documents that you want to manage, the contracts, invoices, etc. You can do that. Those are things you can do, and you would then just use the site workflow to kick that off. Really cool, right? So that was published. So really simple. That's actually not too simple, because you won't be like, outside of seeing the emails, you won't be able to see anything that was created. So give me 1 second. Let me actually add. I want to add something to this. Let's see here. See if I can do this. Thinking on the fly again, which is always fun. I want to create an item in a list. That's what I want to do. Create item. So if it's approved, create the item. I want to create an item in my sample list here. Item. I can store the ID as, I'm going to start as this. Field title. I want the title to be called, let's see here. I'm not passing through anything, so I just call this Hangout, and then ID. In theory, you should not do this. In theory, you should actually be pulling information from the whatever's actually started it. So let's just do that. Current date, put a dash in there so we can have some spacing, and we're going to set that, and then I'm going to go back in here and change this really quickly to become item ID instead of task ID. There we go. Really simple. Close. So that changed. See that change. Save. So we'll create a new item here when that happens. So let's just republish this really quickly. And we can actually then go and see, once this publishes, we'll be able to go out and find the workflow URL. There you go. Alrighty, so let's go to manage external start. It's very simple to manage. Oh, let's try that again. There we go. Manage external start. So ideally, you go to manage external start, you'll see all your site workflows, see the things that are available for you to actually have external start endpoints on. You'll see how many endpoints you have, how many calls have been made. These are really interesting to see because you can say if somebody says, hey, yeah, you've set it up, but it's not working. Well, you can quickly come here and see if there's calls being made successfully to it. It's really great to have that information because that information will help you when actually diagnosing what's going on. You can click configure. Configure allows you to basically keep or create your URL. Do that, add your URL here. Very simple, straightforward. Add your URL to it, and it will generate a URL for you. Takes a little while to do that. It's creating a REST endpoint for that workflow. You can simply name that. I'm going to name mine Nintex Hangout URL. Enable it and save. What you want to do then is actually view the URL, which is here, and the security key. You'll need both of those in order to run it. Actually, see what that looks like. I didn't have any start variables, which is not good. That's actually not good at all. So therefore, and I actually canceled that out. I didn't have any start variables. So let me go back. I don't need any start variables on that. That should be fine because I just want to kick it off. Let's see, what do I do from here? Let's open up Zapier really quickly. Did you know that Nintex has a Zap inside of Zapier? Probably didn't know that. Uh, so Nintex has been working. We actually have a Zap out there, and what that enables you to do is connect a external start URL to a Nintex Zap, and then you can connect it to other Zaps: Twitter, OneDrive, Trello, Zendesk, Salesforce, um, or you can create other Zaps as well. Things that they have a host of Zaps out there that are available. Let's see here. See if I can share my screen again. Let's see. This is cool. Alrighty. Explore. Alright. It is taking forever. Why is that taking forever? Alright. That was interesting. Log in. Wow. Something is going quite fun. Give me a second to figure that out. See if I can get Zapier pulled up on my Chrome browser here. Share that again. So you can see a lot of different Zaps. You can WordPress, Wufoo, Pipedrive, email by Zapier. It's kind of cool. GitHub, LinkedIn. Like, you can use a lot of different things basically, and we have some things out here that you can use as well that are already pre-configured or pre-connected. So let's try something really nice and simple. I'm gonna do OneDrive. I have OneDrive already set up. I do have OneDrive already set up. Awesome. So the premise on this is that I upload a document into OneDrive, and I wanted to kick off the workflow that I just set up that's going to do an approval and then basically send them information, and it's going to send me a notification rather, and then it will create a new item in the sample list. Make sense? All right, let's see if I can find this. So I need, that's not the one I wanted. Let's go back. See, connect to the right OneDrive would be great. Not really what I wanted, but we'll do that. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to create a new Nintex. So I'm going to now connect to that Nintex workflow that I was showing you earlier. Minimize that so I can grab the details here. So this is really important. Copy URL, super important, because we need that URL to actually connect right here. So you want to put that URL in there, and then we need the security key as well. Not going to show it because I don't want anybody to fire that off, but we'll do that. Hit yes, continue. Zapier will actually then communicate with the server, and we'll hold that off, and let's bring this back up. So pretty cool there. I'm going to grab the name. Name. So it's going to then test this out for me, tell me if it works. Yay, everything looks good. I can test it or I can actually use it. So I'm going to now have to open up OneDrive and do this. I should have known that was going to happen. Give me 1 second. So show you just how this thing works. Alrighty. Give me a second. I'm actually logging into my OneDrive now. And I will upload a simple image of some sort. I have lots of images around. Do a lot of different things with graphics, whatever. So I'm going to upload an image. And if you remember, I said I wanted to upload an image to the documents folder. So let's see this. So there, documents folder, picture. I'm going to upload a image, drag it there. So you can see that happening. So the file, did it go? Try that again. Uploading. Oh, let me share that with you. Sorry. I just uploaded this image here. Let's go there. Create and save the file. OneDrive, create and save the file, and then come back to this menu and click continue. Continue. Pretty simple. Now let's see the sample information. So we know that's the name of the file, and I know that's the name of the file. Let's see if I can find this again. Because if I click on this and I look at details, that is, if I can find it right there, the name of the file. 278 blah 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 blah. All right, so cool. Now we want to send that to Nintex. And sent the information, go check it out. Let's go check it out. So I want to come back here and I want to click on, I want to manage my workflow. I want to see if it indeed, so well, we have one call was made 9:43, which is about this time. That's correct. And I should have an email now. Give me a second. Alrighty. Let's see. I should have an email that came through when this test is triggered. Oh, no, it should be an assigned flexi task. That's going to be fun. So let's actually see, where did that go? Let's see. Right. So from documents, that worked. And it's supposed to start a workflow. Oh, is it not set up? Give me 1 second. Thought I had that set up. So that is done. Configure. Test successful. Finish. And so it's running. Okay. What is going on? Oh, there we go. My zaps. I want to be able to actually see task history is what I was looking for. So you can see I have a lot of things running. So it actually did not run, and I can tell it didn't run because I don't see anything up there with it. So give me 1 second. Nope, didn't run. So that means that it didn't get triggered from the OneDrive. Ah, it took forever. It took a long time. And I'm thinking that's probably because I'm running this and I'm logging into 2 different accounts with it. But give it a second, I'll show you what this looks like. So it did finally trigger it. It started this workflow. The workflow kicked off, and it sent me this 2 minutes later. But it sent me this, says, click here to respond to this task. Lazy approval is enabled. I could reply to this email. So I'm going to actually do this, just reply to this email, and I'm going to say approved and send. And what this is, oh, that didn't go over too well. Give it a second. There we go. It's working. It's a little magic. So give it 1 second. But so while that is doing that magic over there, I don't know why Zapper's not working in Internet Explorer for me. And that's not what I needed. I want that. So there's a couple things you can do. So it basically, you have a lot of different things that you can actually kick off with for external start. Zap is just one. You can use Azuka. You can use the endpoint, the REST API to actually kick that off as well. So there's a couple things you can do. I'm waiting on the workflow to now create an item in a list. Here's something that's really cool. Workflow has created, oh, that's actually not what I wanted to do. So how did that happen? Give me 1 second to figure, there we go. That was interesting. The workflow created this, remember I said I wanted to call it this, create a new sample item. So we do know the workflow actually succeeded in kicking this off. I can find the workflow. Manage workflow inventory. That's actually not what I want. I want to see the workflow history. View workflow history. So if we look there, we will actually be able to see that it came in, signed a task, sent a notification, and created an email. Created an item. So we have successfully kicked off a workflow from Zapier, which is pretty cool, if I might add myself. I actually like it. So in short, that's kind of one of the things. Let's go through a couple questions really quick and see what we can do here. Just give me 1 second. Do this. That, and here we go. Not quite what I wanted. Not quite what I wanted. There we go. All right, so let's get to a couple of questions really quickly. Here's question number one. Question number one, is it possible to delete the requiring approval heading? I think I understand what this guy was saying, but let's just go through it really quickly. I use the request approval action often just as, well, okay, let me read that correctly. I use a request approval action just as the task, not as a review. Is it possible to delete the sentence with the link, use this page to review submissions? Learning about approval at the top. So let's see if we can do this. So I'm not really sure where he's seeing that. I actually looked at this earlier, but let's go in, manage external start. Let me go back here, sample list. Let's get into our workflow, create a new workflow, and we're going to see what exactly is he saying. So let's go here. We want to request an action, request approval. I like the search type thing there. It's a lot easier. And here, we want to manage what the user sees in a task. So we can do a task name, test task, sample description, and approver, come to myself, start action and due date task, everything else is good. And I'm going to actually go to the task and see the following item requires your context display, insert reference. Everything looks fine here. You can always change this by simply saying you can type into it. You have a task to review and approve. Do that. You can also change this to say, please approve this task. So you do have the ability to do those. You can allow delegation or lazy approval, etc. And you can change some of those if you want to as well. Let's save that. So that's pretty much how that is, right? Not really a big deal. See here. So let's publish this. Yes, I'm just creating workflows on the fly. So this will be a, what was that question called? Approval heading. Workflow. See what we can do here. So this should just be able to kick this workflow off manually because I didn't change any of the settings, so manually. And oops, clicking really fast doesn't help anything. So I should be able to now come here and workflows and start that workflow manually. Start. And it should send an email to myself once that starts. I guess hitting start would actually be good. I got to remember to flip through here so you can see this. All right, so I hit start. The workflow is in progress because it says it's starting, and there's a task. So let me look at task and see what that task looks like, and then also look at an email. So sample description, approve, reject the item, use this field to enter the comments. Following properties are there, so you can see the item properties, approve, and I think he wants to use this page to approve, note the reject, learn more about requiring approval. Note that the rejected item does not delete it. Okay, now let's see if I can go back to the question really quick, because I think that's what he says. It's possible to delete the sentence with the link, use this page to review submissions. Learning about requiring approval. So he wants to delete that part of it. So, I mean request review, of course. Can we delete, can we use the sentence, use this page to review, request review? Sure I'm following that. So I will tell you a little bit about this page. Let's do this. So this page is a standard page. It's called an approve reject page. You would need to actually modify this as, let's see here, where is that at? And this was something that was definitely, he was going in the right direction. I wouldn't recommend changing this page is what I would say. But there's another thing as well. So this, and let's see here, make sure this is coming out. This is the one I want to show here. So you can use it. This one actually comes through. This is what comes through in an email. It says you have a task to review and approve. I put that information in and it gives me the task here. So that's what comes through in the email. And then if you look at the actual post, when you click on a link in the edit test, you come here and this is what you see. So I'm not really sure where it's confusing. I could understand him wanting to remove this because you don't want a person clicking somewhere and going into something that they don't need to go into. However, they should be doing it based on an action, one thing. And two, you can actually use the laser approval here and allow them to do it that way. Doesn't completely solve the issue, but again, some of that is around process management, not necessarily trying to remove things from the product or how the product actually interacts. That would be the way that I would look at that. And hopefully that does help solve some of that. Another question that I did see was around, let's see, where was it at when I see here? Let's see. I want to do one that's fun. Enabling a workflow. Here's one. Enabling a workflow to start an item menu issue in SharePoint 2010. I don't have, but let's look at this one really quick. So what they're wanting to do is be able to kick off a start a workflow from a menu item in SharePoint. And Nintex does something really cool with this. And what they do around it is we allow you to actually inject a start workflow item into the contextual menu. So let's go back to, actually, let's terminate this workflow. That was just an example. We're going to go back into that workflow and actually configure it to run from the start menu. Very cool, but this is also something that's doable in 2010 as well. Used to do this a lot. This was something that helped users a lot because they didn't have to go and try to navigate to it to figure out and find it. Go to workflow settings, and you want to actually come all the way down here. Enable workflow to start from the item menu. Pretty cool. So approval heading workflow. So usually you want the language in there to be something that says start or run or something like that so they get it. And what you can then do, leave it manual because that's what they're going to be doing, and you don't want it to start automatically. You could also do this when you have workflows that are starting when the item's been modified. You can also have it say, hey, start when item's modified, or allow them to kick it off themselves. So usually the menu item label is done in conjunction with or uh, combined with the starting manual because that involves a user coming out and doing something. So we're going to publish this. Again, leave that name the same. Allow this to be published. And we'll get there shortly. It's working on it. It is working on it. There we go. All right, so close. We'll come back to the list item here. So see that canceled. Open menu. So there you have it right there. And you can also set more than one. So actually, let's just do this just so that you'll see it. We'll create another workflow. And we'll allow you to see what that looks like. All right, blank. I'm going to create a simple one, send the notification. Why am I doing these simple things? Because they're easy to set up. You can do a whole lot of complex ones, but this is very simple. Sample, save, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to have this one start at number 1. So 0, 1, etc. And this is going to be send email notification. So you could do this, and actually we'll probably need to be good to name it. Send email notification. Oops. Send email notification, do that, etc. Save. So I could have a workflow that says request approval, send email notification, whatever, and then the user doesn't have to navigate anywhere. They can simply just click on the menu, the contextual menu, and start the workflow. The workflow goes off, and they're then good to go, and they can go about their business however they want. So within a matter of time, come here. See, I've started. So 0, 1 is how that works. I can go in and flip that order if I wanted to, but send out email notifications, I can do that, or I can start approval heading here. And either one of these, actually, I'll just click on it, would start the workflow, do that, start workflow, and then continue going off from there. So very cool, very easy to use, and very user friendly when working with workflows and working with, if I can figure out what screen I had open, be great. That's what you get for having a lot of screens open. There we go. It's this one right here. So being able to do that, with this one, we'll check and see. Look at that. I know there was a couple of guys on here that were really good and assisting with that. I just wanted to kind of showcase that really quickly on how to do that. But that's something that we can look at as well. So I know that I was a little late. Definitely trying to get in, trying to figure out this new format with what YouTube is doing and Google around the whole streaming. I'm going to run through a couple more of these to get it done behind the scenes. So we'll be doing some live things, some live tests. Hopefully get this thing back to normal. We'll have the recordings done, a little bit of post editing, and get these uploaded for people that aren't live. We appreciate you for tuning in as well as those that are viewing also. So with that, really glad, great to see Hangouts coming back. It's actually all on me, but the Hangouts coming back. We got a whole lot of new stuff happening around Nintex. We're going to be at Ignite next week, all this week, with a lot of other people. So if you're going to be at Ignite, really looking forward to seeing you there as well. And really excited again to just be getting back into the groove with the Hangouts. Definitely excited about that. On the other hand, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them below the Hangout videos. They'll be actually seen. You can do those one or two ways. You can do those on the community. So you go to Nintex community.nintex.com backslash. Actually, if I knew that, it would be great. I believe it is backslash community slash support slash hangout. So it's community.nintex.com backslash community slash support slash hangout. That'll get you straight to the hangout page. You can post your questions there, or if you find yourself at YouTube, you can post your questions underneath there. Also, you can tweet them to me at eharris04. But definitely follow. We'll be getting this thing up and running. Couple of glitches on the technology side, but anything new is always exciting and fun to run with. So really excited that you were here, a part of it, and looking forward to spending some time with you. In a couple of weeks, we'll be doing a post-Ignite review or update, talking about what happened at Ignite, what we saw from Nintex. I know some stuff is going on there. We also have a couple things really quick. Ryan and Brad are both doing sessions at Ignite. So again, if you're going, check those out. There's a host of other things happening. We have some updates to Draw Loop, updates to, if you haven't heard, the Nintex Workflow Cloud is actually, it is in beta, it's coming out of beta soon. You definitely want to keep your ear to the ground on that one. And there's a couple other things going on that I don't want to spoil the news on, but also check out Exchange. That's one of the things that I should be promoting more often. But check out Nintex Exchange. It's a place for you to find assets, things you can use, get started really quickly with Nintex, get whether it's a workflow template, a form template, or a custom code, things that allow you JavaScript, CSS to enhance what you're doing and get those things going really fast. So really excited about that, and there's a couple of updates coming to that as well. We'll be releasing some assets. I'm actually working on a couple of new assets that'll be loading up into Nintex Exchange this week. So really excited to see what is in store and what we can do. Look forward to that. So if you have any questions, definitely tweet me or post a question underneath the video, and I'll be sure to get those and try to get those answered as soon as possible. But looking forward to hanging out with you again in a couple of weeks, and have a great rest of your day.